Israel Adesanya made a video reacting or breaking down his most recent fight against Sean Strickland, where he basically got whooped for like 4 rounds. I think he might have won one. He did a breakdown, a first word on the matter. And, it was interesting because I thought he might come out and just go for the excuse route. Like the entire time I thought he might come out and make excuses and just go down that road pretty hard. I was a little bit impressed. He did acknowledge Sean had a good game plan. He acknowledged that he's hard to hit. He acknowledged that there's things he could have done better. He acknowledged that, Sean dropped him with a great shot and, hopped on him. And he acknowledged that Sean did well. But I will say he did have some really lame excuses about why he lost the fight. He definitely did. I mean, he said his arms felt like noodles. He said that he couldn't get stuff going. He said his jab wasn't good. And the thing is he wasn't acknowledging Sean. He did mention he was good, but he didn't acknowledge the fact that the reason he was having some of these problems is because of what Sean did. And this is a very sneaky trap that a lot of fighters fall into. They just go, oh, well, like I had an off night. I couldn't get this going. I couldn't get that going. And that definitely happens, especially at an athlete at that level. If you're not operating on a certain level on many different modalities, can really affect you. And if you're off on one of them, it can ruin the fight for you. But he wasn't acknowledging I couldn't really land the jab because Sean's really hard to hit. I was having trouble getting going because Sean's pressure was really hard to deal with and was, pretty much unstoppable in many ways for him. He wasn't acknowledging that, Sean kept him going backwards the entire time and was countering as soon as he would throw. So it was very difficult for him to get any shots off. He wasn't acknowledging that. He was making it seem like, oh, that was wrong with me. It wasn't because Sean was good. Sean is good, but I could have beat him. It's just because I didn't do these things correctly. It's not because of how good Sean is that stifled and inhibited my ability and precluded my game plan from transpiring in the fight. He didn't give Sean credit for that, and that is a huge trap. He also mentioned his arms felt like noodles. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't really know how much that has to do with Sean. I don't know how much that has to do with him or, him essentially just getting tired and fatigued because Sean's nonstop pressure. I mean, when you got someone coming at you like that for 25 minutes and they're not stopping and they're landing on you and you're not really landing anything, and every time you throw, they're throwing right back and they're landing more, that's tiring. That can make your arm feel like noodles. I don't think he was giving Sean the proper credit that Sean deserved for the phenomenal, absolutely flawless performance that he had. I don't think he was giving Sean enough credit in that regard. I believe he did make some other excuses that maybe I'm not remembering right now. But the thing that was so apparent and kind of alarming in the video was how much he underestimated Sean Strickland. Like, you could really tell just by the things he's saying in the video. I encourage everyone to go watch Israel Adesanya's latest reaction video on his YouTube channel, or just latest video in general, I believe, as of right now, unless he's uploaded more, where he reacts and gives a breakdown to his current fight versus Sean Strickland, the most recent one. And listen to how shocked he is by, how well Sean did. Listen to how surprised and overall just you can just tell he underestimated Sean so much. You can tell how much he really just thought he was going to go in there and destroy Sean Strickland. And it's just for someone who's been a world champion for a while and for someone who is professional in many ways, and obviously he's unprofessional in some ways, but as someone who's been dominant and been a champion and had so much experience for so long, for him to just underestimate an opponent like that, that's problematic. That's really, really problematic for him to do that. And it raises some questions. Maybe he's got some yes men on his team. Maybe people aren't being honest with him. Maybe he's not being honest with himself. What's going on in the Adesanya camp? What's going on with the people around him where he really just thought he was going to go in there and smoke Sean and, didn't have much of an ability to adjust, and then doesn't seem to want to acknowledge that he pretty much just got smoked by Sean Strickland, and there wasn't a whole lot he could do. So it's very interesting that he underestimated Sean so heavily, and it's going to be even more interesting to see what he does next, because it's a very amateur thing to do. You could just tell by the things he said, like when Sean rocked him, and then Sean hopped on him and started landing hard punches. Israel says, he's like, man, this guy's really hitting me right now. Man, this guy really dropped me right now. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's like, yeah, he's like, you're fighting a 200-pound man. Like, they can do that to you. And it's an interesting point because these guys get to a certain level where they really just believe they're unstoppable. They really just believe that, like, no one can touch them and no one can do anything to them. And that's a big trap. It's a very, very pernicious, detrimental trap that a lot of fighters fall into. And we'll see if Izzy can come back or not. I'll tell you what, the post-fight speech, was, it was, I mean, he looked like he was about to cry. He basically didn't have a post-fight speech. His coach, Eugene, took over the post-fight speech and said a bunch of really odd, like, vague things. And, yeah, it almost seemed like their game plan it almost seemed like the whole camp just underestimated Sean, to be honest with you. So I'll probably have to make a video on that. Maybe I'll make that next. But, yeah, very, very interesting. It's difficult to become a champion, as George St. Pierre said, but it's even more difficult to stay champion. I don't think he was the first one to say that, but we see that time and time again. So it'll be interesting to see if Izzy can come back or if this is the end of him. I mean, he's 2-2 right now. Yeah, he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights, and he got one of them he got finished. The other one he got just destroyed, basically from start to finish, and was not able to adjust well at all in his last fight. So it's not good for Izzy. We'll see. We'll see how he comes back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name's Angelo. This is The Art of Violence, and until next time.
You guys need to get hit by your dads a little bit more.
Okay.
Not even hit, not discipline. You guys don't need to be like, I didn't take out the trash, hit. You guys need to get like an alcoholic rage beating, and then you'll start fucking learning how to have, nuts.
I don't know. Some of the experts might have some questions about that, but you seem to know what you're doing.
Yeah.